We're live. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United 2-0 Perth Glory match reaction. And look, you know what? I've got to start off with what was a very comfortable, easy work for Manchester United. But there is a negative. There is a negative, and it's a very sad negative because Luke Shaw went off in that game clutching his hamstring, suspected that he has a hamstring injury, and if that is the case, Luke Shaw will be out for up to 6 weeks. So it's Luke Shaw hamstring injury, it's Ashley Young, hold my beer, I'm back in the team, I'm captain, I'm left back. Ashley Young, he's got more lives than a cat, hasn't he? Look, it's a blow, it's a big blow for Manchester United if that turns out to be a significant injury for Luke Shaw. Even if he's missing for 2 or 3 weeks, it's an issue. It's an issue going into a new season to have a right back 34-year-old wing, a right-footed ex-winger playing at left back. It's just not. And whatever, it's pre-season. It doesn't really matter. Of course, the result doesn't matter, but it does matter next season if you've got Ashley Young playing at left back, because you solve the right back problem with a right back who can defend like Wan-Bissaka. You put Ashley Young at left back, and you've got a team that will now attack down the left-hand side like every team attacked us down the right-hand side last season. So a bit of a blow that with Luke Shaw, and you're going to get it in pre-season. You're going to pick up injuries. It's just disappointing, isn't it? Pogba look quality, big loss if he goes, says Newborn Years. Yeah, look, very difficult game to judge players on. Man of the match was Daniel James for me. Smash a like on the video if you agree. We did a bit of a poll on Twitter before we went live. Man of the match, Daniel James got most of the vote. Well, not most of the vote, he got about 30%. Angel Gomez came in next. Rashford. What a goal by James Garner. What a goal by James Garner, by the way. Literally comes on, finished it perfectly. That was the pick. That was the moment of the game for me because he just took it so well. Welcome to Blade Ram. But you know what? You don't learn a lot from a pre-season game. Let's just say that straight away. It was a good run out for Manchester United. It was easy work. Perth Glory were not very good. I think we hoped they'd be better than they were. They gave the ball away a lot. They weren't very good on the ball. What they did do is they organised each other well. They definitely parked the bus. Got no problem with that. I think if they'd come out and played, they would have got beat 7-8-0. So they did park the bus. They did defend quite well. United weren't as clinical as they could have been. Their final ball was a little bit off, but you'd expect that in a pre-season game. No issue with that. All in all, very pleased for United. You get 45 minutes in the legs for most of the players. We did try to press the ball. We did make Perth Glory make a lot of mistakes. And the great thing is, Leeds are a good Championship side. Inter are a good Serie A side. Spurs are a very good Premier League side. So we know the next few games we're going to have to go up a level, which is exactly what pre-season should be all about. So I'm encouraged by what I saw from United, and I'm encouraged about what's to come for the next few weeks. Big problem for me is Nemanja Matic. I don't think you can go into pre-season and judge a game as an individual game. Ashley Young played well today. Does that mean he's good? He wasn't crap for the last few months of the season for United? No, it's a pre-season game against Perth Glory. Everybody should be playing well. I don't think Matic had a bad game. This is a Delot opportunity to cement himself, says Chops How. I'd rather see Delot playing at left back than Ashley Young, to be honest with you. But this is I've just seen that chance from Mason Greenwood where he hit the post, cracking chance. But this is potentially Ollie's weakness, isn't it? Where he's got an obsession with people like Ashley Young. But yeah, I would love to see that happen. Does this game not show we are very short in midfield, Mark, says Philip Burtonwood? The midfield is very, very short. The midfield is very short. And I think that the issue with Matic is not necessarily his performance today, but what I see from Matic is the same old problems we see every game last season. He's so slow on the ball. He's so slow as a player. And when he gets the ball, he's so slow at moving the ball. So there's 3 slow things there. And that's not helpful in such a core position. That centre defensive midfield position, who takes the ball off the back 4 and dictates the play, he's slow. He's a hat-trick of slow, and that's going to be a problem for us next season, because when we moved the ball quick, Perth Glory, they struggled. If a team moves the ball slow, you've got time to get yourself positioned. When United moved it quick, like one-touch passing, and we did it a couple of times in both halves, we caused them problems. So yeah, the only issue I had from today's game that worries me going into next season, because there's not a lot you can really predict, is that I think Matic will play a lot of games, and he is a big problem for us. W City says the youth made the experienced players look crap. I mean, looking across the youth, I do class Daniel James as youth, although we've brought him in. He is still, young to United and inexperienced. I thought he had a very good first 20 minutes. Yeah, final ball was a little bit off, but that pace, that want to have the ball was encouraging. Greenwood, I just want to say in relation to Mason Greenwood, I thought he was fantastic. For a lad who's not 18 yet, people were saying, oh, he's not clinical enough. Forget about it. He missed a few chances against Cardiff and a few chances today. He will find the goal. That's not what I'm worried about. What I like about Greenwood is when you compare him to Chong, he's 2 years younger, he's got the physicality and he's got the confidence. I think Chong hasn't quite got the physicality and hasn't quite got the confidence yet, and he gives the ball away a lot more than Greenwood does. Greenwood looks like, he's not far off the physique of Rashford, and he's 4 years younger. I think Greenwood is ready, but I said that after Cardiff. I think Greenwood's ready. Gomez, I don't know. I think a loan for Gomez is the way forward, and I think a loan for Chong is the way forward. I don't think they're going to be getting much first team football, but they definitely need it. But let's see how they go on the tour. They might get better. Garner, James Garner, he's only 17. And he comes on and scores a goal like that again. And he's part of the first team setup. Garner and Greenwood are the ones I'm sort of thinking about now because they're so much younger than everybody else. Scott McTominay's 22. James Garner's 17. There's a 4 or 5 year gap there. And is there a 4 or 5 year gap in their development? Yeah. But I don't think there's a 4 or 5 year gap in where they are. So he's exciting. Everybody else, Rashford took his chance really well. Very, very pleased with Rashford. That's what I want to see Rashford less on corners and set pieces and more on the box. Martial didn't really have much to do. That midfield that he had to play with was a bit slow. And Wan-Bissaka, Dalot did well getting forward. I thought all the fullbacks did quite well. The centre-backs may as well have pipe and slippers on. They didn't really have anything to do. The goalkeepers, God, they may as well have had a kip. Catch up on your sleep. But all in all, for a pre-season game, no issues with it. I'm looking forward to further games now. And I thought that everybody came out of that game, no negatives. The only negative for me is that I just think that centre defensive midfield position going into next season, Matic, as we said last year, is just too slow for it. Wan-Bissaka looked immense in my opinion, says James Hayes-Clark. He wasn't tested defensively, which is his strong part of the game, and he needs to improve offensively, which he got a chance to do. The Bucknut fan says, just to put this into perspective how Perth made Matic look, Jones caught up to their striker and Matic looked slow and exposed. I would love the Matic rumours of leaving Manchester United to be true because I think we'll become a better team without him. But I don't want to make a scapegoat. I don't think he had a bad performance. I just think there was very few... You couldn't look at that United performance and say, we're going to finish 7th next season. You just can't. You just cannot because you don't know how we're going to play. You don't know how many players are going to be sold. You don't know how many of those are going to go on loan. You don't know how many new players we're going to bring in. You can't predict what's going to happen next season off that performance. But what you can predict and what concerns me is Matic going to be our CDM because that problem is going to become more of a problem next season. You were playing a pub team, says Zine Mesa. Oh, God, leave your banter to next season. We're playing a pre-season game against the team we've just beat 2-0. It doesn't mean anything if we're drawn. Chelsea drew last week. It means absolutely nothing. If you are a rival fan trying to banter us, give us a chance. Give us a chance to just enjoy a pre-season game that means nothing and, focus. What are you doing watching United play a pre-season game? It means nothing unless you're a fan of United and you're actually looking at little bits about players that might be suitable next year, might need a loan, might need to be sold, what we need to bring in. Pre-season's really for the purist fans who are so obsessed with their club that they watch it and enjoy it, and that's certainly what I do, and I know a lot of what you do as well. Man of the match, very, very difficult to give, very difficult to give player ratings as well. But the players that stood out for me going through the team, I thought Twansea, and look, I realise most of them only played 45 minutes max, and some of them only played well for maybe 10-15 minutes. So look, I take that into account. When I say this, it's like I say, it's very, very difficult. But the players that stood out for me, Twansea looked very mature in that centre-back position, but had nothing to really do. I thought Wan-Bissaka, Dalot got forward down the right-hand side well. Defensively, again, didn't really have anything to do. Young and Shaw got forward well. But players that stood out for me, I thought Dalot first half did well. Wan-Bissaka second half. Twansea did well. Physically, I liked it. Into the midfield, Pogba looked good when he was there. Nobody really stood out from the midfield. They didn't do anything wrong, but nobody really stood out. I don't think Mata, McTominay, Lingard, Matic, Pereira really stood out. Pogba did look like the quality player he can be. And then into the front players, look, Martial had really nothing to do. He had a good shot in a tight situation. I thought Greenwood looked good without getting his goal. Gomez looks good. Daniel James looked good for 20 minutes. And, you know, Rashford took his goal well. So the standout players for me, Rashford, Gomez, James, Greenwood. And, of course, Garner's got to get a mention because he came on and scored a great goal. But for me, yeah, Daniel James was man of the match. So smash a like on the video if you agree with me that Daniel James was your man of the match. I saw enough in that first 20 minutes that I thought, you know what, he's exciting. And if he develops at this club, he's going to be a really good player. George Broadway, who would be the top 5 most expensive signings in history if they were inflated to their current price? Also, my Insta is George_Broadway too. George, I cannot answer that sort of question on a match reaction about Perth. You've blown my mind with that. But maybe go onto his Instagram and have a say about that. The 5 most expensive players in history if they were inflated to their current price. So I think what he's saying is, how much would Rio Ferdinand be worth in today's market if that transfer had happened today? Yeah. Ronaldo to Real Madrid from Manchester United in today's market would have to be north of 200 million, wouldn't it? Feizu says we should play Gomez over Fred. He is amazing. Wan-Bissaka was my man of the match, says Solomon Ian. Gomez was amazing, says Ishrak. Lingard, man of the match, says Togai. I don't think Lingard did that much. I think he had a good shot, which I'm just watching back there, but I don't think he was one of the standout players. I think he did well, but I think, you know, you've got to be looking at the new and the young players because of how young, how assured they were. Michael Monroe says, do you think Twansibi maybe played centre-back for us this season or loan him out? Personally, I think if Bay is fit, he's better than Maguire. Look, that's a good point from Michael, and I want to bring this in. From today's game, does it change your opinion on transfers that need to happen at Manchester United? And for me, it's a big fat no. It's Perth Glory, who are not a very good side. It's 45 minutes for most of those players. If you are judging where United are now and what transfers we need from 45 minutes in a pre-season game against Perth Glory, as opposed to the last 2 months of the season where we were terrible, that's where I judge this team. We need a centre-back who's dominant in the air and is experienced and is a leader. None of our centre-backs are that. Even if Twansibi goes on to be the best player in the world, he's not what we need at the moment. I don't mind him being involved, but the whole point of a centre-back is we need a leader who's dominant in the air. We've got to sign a centre-back. Nothing changes me away from that. In the midfield, I think we know we're weak in the midfield. Like, we played 2 midfields in those 2 halves, but even if we played 90 minutes, I still don't think you could make a midfield that's good enough from the 6 midfielders that played. We need 2 midfielders. Definitely. Right wing. We need a right winger as well. We do need a right winger as well. We desperately need a right winger, but I don't think we'll get that. But we definitely still need... It doesn't matter what we do against Leeds, Inter and Spurs. We definitely still need a centre-back and 2 midfielders. Where we are with that, Harry Maguire's the priority. As I said over a week ago, that deal's there to be done. United just need to go up to 75 million. And... the midfield, apparently we're being patient. What I would say about your transfers is, I said it on the watch along, if you aren't aware, we've got an interview with Simon Peach going up on the channel tomorrow morning. Simon Peach is a journalist for the Press Association. He is tier 1. If you know about your transfers and you know about the credibility scales, some things are like the Metro and stuff are tier 5. There's a few outlets and journalists who are considered to be tier 1. Highly, highly credible. Simon Peach is one of those. And we've got an interview with him going up on the channel tomorrow. We asked him specifically about certain players and whether he thinks they're going to be at United. People like Bruno Fernandes. Watch it for that. He also spoke about what he feels is going on at United at the moment. Some of it encouraging, some it not so. Solskjaer, United, Pogba. Brilliant interview. That's going up tomorrow morning. So make sure you have subscribed to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. And most importantly, you click the bell and you get your notifications on, because it's a brilliant interview tomorrow morning about transfers. What I would say at the moment, patience. That's what Ollie said, patience. I don't know when the next signing is going to be. I think it will be Harry Maguire, and then I think we will get Bruno Fernandes, but patience is the key. And those 2 players are essential to what we want to be as a football club. We've got a super chat from P. Krause. He says, I've changed my mind about Pogba. We must do everything we can to keep him. We don't have enough time to replace him. He will still conduct himself professionally, I think. You know, some people said Pogba didn't look that interested today, but whether he's interested or not, he's so much better than everything we've got. What I would say is the ideal situation is that we get Pogba to stay for a year and then we sell him next year. That would be the ideal situation, because I don't know whether we can change it, replace him in 1 month. The problem is we're in the hands of Paul Pogba. Some would say get rid of him, he doesn't want to be here because they've got pride in their club. I understand that. But the problem is, if Pogba wants to go, it don't matter about us saying, oh, we must keep him. If he's adamant he wants to go, you've got to let him go, of course. So that's the situation there, pure and simple every time. Was Lindelof in the squad today, says Graham Dutton? No, Lindelof, Eric Bailly and Lukaku did not play today. They were not part of the squad. De Gea didn't play, but he's fit. They've got 4 goalkeepers to give game time to. Lindelof apparently has a knock. Lukaku, we're told, got a knock. And Eric Bailly is still coming back from injury. So those 3 players didn't play. Every other outfield player did have an involvement in the game. I want to just say as well, big shout out to James Garner. He's only 17. What a goal. Comes on, smashes it in the bottom corner. Lovely goal. Absolutely brilliant. And fair play to him as well. You know, shooting from outside the box. We'll need to do that a lot more. Have a look at Sangari of Toulouse. What a player and a midfielder, says Stephen Boyd. Alex Bint wants me to do match ratings. Bloody hell, you're causing me a problem here. So, first half, Romero 6, didn't really have anything to do. Twansibi 7, Jones 6, Young 7, Delo 7, Matic 5, Pereira 6, Lingard 6, average is 6, Chong 6, Martial 6, James 8. But you're judging them on such a short period of time, it's really difficult. Second half, Pereira 6, had nothing to do. Wan-Bissaka 7, Luke Shaw 6, Smalling and Rojo 6, had nothing to do. McTominay 6, Pogba 7, Gomez 7, Mata 6, Greenwood 7, Rashford 7, Garner 7 for the goal. So a few slightly above average, a few average. The only player I just thought doesn't offer anything is Matic, and I feel a bit harsh saying that to him, to be honest. But yeah, all in all, very, 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 you know, it's encouraging as far as it can be encouraging. There's a ceiling with the pre-season game. You can't get carried away with it. I'm really excited to see us play Leeds on Wednesday, because that's going to be a tough, you know, battle, because there's a rivalry. Inter and Spurs is a step up as well. Really excited. So the Perth Glory game's the worst game on paper because it's the weakest opposition, but it was exciting because it was the first one. So bring on the next few games. I want to see more of the young lads getting involved. I hope every single game we see 2 teams play, because if we see 2 teams play, the most cover we've got is in the defence. We haven't got much cover in the midfield or the attack, which means people like Greenwood, Gomez, Chong, Garner, they're going to have to play more games and they're going to have to get more minutes. So that's great. For me, that's a real gate. Daniel James was my standout player. Smash a like if you agree with that. We've got to do transfer business over the next couple of weeks. Definitely. We've got to. I think that's exciting in itself. I think it's exciting that we don't know what our team's going to be for Chelsea. We don't know who's going to be here. You know, if Pogba did force a move, we've got to replace him. If Pogba doesn't force a move, we've still got to bring Bruno Fernandes in. We've still got to bring another midfielder in. We've still got to bring a centre-back in. And that will make us stronger. But I said at the start of the game, one of the most exciting things for me was to see how we lined up and how we played tactically, because it doesn't matter about the players. Pre-season, you've still got to see what Ollie said. I've got a pre-season to get them fitter. I've got a pre-season to start playing the way I want to play, more intense, more robust. And I think what we did see is a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't the diamond, which I don't like. It was 3 players up front, more or less. They were interchanging. There was speed, there was pace, there was pressing. And yeah, it's a pre-season game, but I did start to see more of a team from the first 3 months than that static team of the last 3 months of Ollie's first half season in charge. So I was encouraged by that. And what I would say is, if we are asking for silly money for Lukaku, I'll re-emphasise what I said last night. It's so important that we sell Lukaku. He doesn't want to be here. Ollie doesn't want him. Ollie doesn't want him because he doesn't fit in. You think Lukaku today in that game, what does he do in a game like that, where a team is parking the bus, where we're not creating loads of chances, and the only way we can create chances is by quick movement of the ball, one-touch football? He can't do that. So if you drop Lukaku in today, unless we put a couple of chances in the box for him, which he'd probably take, the build-up play, the quick interactive play, he can't do that. And that's why, respectfully, Ollie wants to move him on. That's why Lukaku wants to move on to a team that suits him better. It's very important that we move him on, because I liked the interchangeability between the front 3 today in both halves. And I like the way we pressed and I like the way we moved. Brandon Bezic says, Matic is such a problem for me. Until Shaw got injured, I wanted to see Dalot try out that CDM position. Now he has to play left back over Young. I don't think there was any prospect of us seeing Dalot in the CDM position, as much as I would like to have seen it. Right, anyway, please do smash a like on the video, everybody. Thanks everyone who's joined us for the watch along and the match reactions. Really enjoyed it. The first one of the season's out the way. Subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. And also, we've got fan cams coming in. Flex is doing them now, so there will be fan cams going up throughout the day. So we're going to ask them some key questions as well about, you know, transfers, as well as how we did today and stuff like that. So make sure you're subscribed. You've got your notifications on. Fan cams will be coming in through the afternoon. We've got a match day vlog as well. And of course, tomorrow morning, that big interview with Simon Peach. You don't want to miss it. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks everyone for watching. Positivity, smile on your face, get some signings in, keep building as a club, and let's see where we end up. But August the 8th will be judgment day on everything. We know that for transfers. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. I've said everything I need to say.